Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating historical paradox. Just imagine for a second a ruler who holds absolute, unparalleled power. A leader who has every single opportunity to live in unimaginable luxury, surrounded by endless wealth. Most historical figures in that position, well, they take exactly that path. But today, we're looking at the inspiring story of someone who did the exact opposite. We're exploring Umar's legacy of honest leadership, specifically Caliph Umar ibn al-Aziz, a man who entirely rejected luxury in favor of absolute simplicity and unyielding justice.
And this brings up a really massive, sweeping question. Can one honest leader completely transform a nation? We hear a lot today about systemic issues, bureaucracy, and just how hard it is to turn the ship of the state around. But what happens when the person steering that ship possesses pure, unfiltered integrity? Keep this question in the back of your mind, because the historical journey we're about to take provides a pretty staggering answer.
Section 1. Redefining Royal Power, the Paradox of a Reluctant Ruler.
Historically, when someone ascends to the highest office, the expectation is luxury. You expect towering palaces and hoarded wealth. That was just the norm. But the reality for Umar ibn Abd al-Aziz was completely different. When he took the reins, he chose a life of utter simplicity, deep humility, and dedicated public service. He didn't just, tweak the system a little bit. He completely inverted the expectations of what a ruler should look and act like.
Now, to really wrap our heads around the gravity of his choices, we've got to grasp the scale of his role. He became the leader of the Ummah, which is the global Muslim community. We aren't talking about some small, isolated kingdom here. This was a vast, sprawling, incredibly diverse global population. The immense scale and just the sheer weight of responsibility he took on when he became its leader makes his commitment to a simple life even more extraordinary.
Section 2. The Justice Mandate, Swift and Sweeping Reforms.
And let me tell you, his actions were immediate and profound. First, right out of the gate, he returned unnecessary royal wealth back to the public treasury. He literally emptied the royal coffers of excess and gave it right back to the state. Second, he completely cleaned house. He systematically replaced dishonest officials with trustworthy ones. And third, he prioritized the most vulnerable. He put strict measures in place to ensure that the poor, widows, and orphans actually received their rights. It was a complete institutional overhaul. So the crucial point here is the underlying philosophy driving all of this. Why did he do it? Well, our source material tells us that he believed, fundamentally, that every single coin belonged to the people. The state treasury wasn't his personal bank account, it was a sacred public trust. And even more profoundly, he governed with this constant, humbling awareness that as a ruler, he would one day have to answer to Allah for every single decision he made. This brilliantly illustrates how that philosophy translated into everyday policy. Instead of focusing on vanity projects like building grand palaces just to stroke his own ego, he relentlessly focused on institutional fairness. He ensured taxes were collected fairly without any extortion. He drastically reduced corruption. He distributed public wealth responsibly. And crucially, he sent out these strict orders to his governors that every single person must be treated fairly, completely regardless of their social status. He basically redirected the entire machinery of the state toward anti-corruption. Section 3. An economic miracle, the ripple effect of just governance. Okay, real quick, before we look at the results, we need to define zakat. In Islamic tradition, zakat is an obligatory charity given to the eligible poor. It's a fundamental economic pillar designed to distribute wealth to those who are really struggling to meet their basic needs. Keep that definition front and center for this next part. Because I want you to imagine the culmination of all these reforms. You've got a massive treasury, wiped totally clean of corruption, administered by honest officials, and guided by a leader who views every coin as a sacred trust. So what happens when absolute justice meets public wealth? The historical result is honestly almost hard to believe. Justice spread, people's lives drastically improved, and businesses absolutely flourished. Poverty decreased so significantly that historical reports describe a staggering situation. In some regions, officials literally found it difficult to locate anyone eligible to receive zakat. Think about that for a second. They had the funds to give to the poor, but so many people's basic needs had already been met that there was virtually no one left in poverty to give the charity to. Umar's legacy of honest leadership effectively eradicated systemic poverty. Section 4. A timeless legacy, maximum impact in minimum time.
Now, you might be thinking this took decades of slow, methodical policymaking.
Nope. Caliph Umar ibn Abd ruled for only about 2.5 years. That is it. In roughly 30 months, his strict adherence to justice, fairness, and honesty triggered a complete systemic transformation and an absolute economic miracle.
His short reign became one of the absolute greatest examples of honest Islamic leadership. His legacy teaches us that true leadership has absolutely nothing to do with accumulating power or hoarding wealth. It is entirely about serving people, and it requires 4 key ingredients: sincerity, justice, humility, and the fear of Allah. That right there is the blueprint of his 8th century masterclass in governance.
So, I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought. If one leader armed with nothing but pure honesty and a commitment to justice could effectively eradicate poverty in just 2.5 years, what does true leadership mean for us today? Are we expecting enough from our institutions? Are we expecting enough from ourselves? The story of Caliph Umar ibn Abd continues to inspire people around the world precisely because it shows us exactly what is possible when integrity sits at the head of the table. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this sparked your curiosity, and I definitely encourage you to keep exploring.